Welcome to another episode of The Latest with Maya. Today, I am very excited to be having a conversation with singer-songwriter LØLØ. Thank you so much for being on my show. I am so excited to be talking with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be on the show.
So let's get started. Do you have a specific songwriting process or any rituals that you do prior to a songwriting session?
I would say my process, well, for rituals, I guess it would just be like, no, not really rituals, honestly. I kind of just like whenever I'm going through life, I suppose, I'll constantly be jotting down like lyrical ideas in my phone. And then so when I'm then going to write a song in like a songwriting session or something, I usually have like a bunch of material on my phone. But yeah, I always personally start with lyrics first. I'm like a very lyric heavy person and the lyrics are really important to me. And so I'll even sometimes write it out just like lyrics. So I guess it's kind of like a poem, and then we'll put it into a song after.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love writing songs, so I always
What's
love
your right
hearing
song?
other people's.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Do you do lyric first or melody?
Yes, I do lyrics because I can't play any instruments. So
I think most people that I speak to do melody first, so we're kind of like the odd ones out.
yeah.
Yeah, I like it though.
Yeah. Um, so how has social media and TikTok in particular, how has it affected your songs?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword because TikTok, I think, social media, TikTok in general, is so great for like artist discovery. Like, if not for that, I probably wouldn't have been discovered by so many more people than I was. But then I feel like it's also kind of bad on like songwriters or artists because like maybe some people or even me sometimes like you're trying to just get a rise out of like TikTok. And so like you're kind of starting to think about like, okay, what's gonna get the most views and stuff rather than like what do I want to write? So I feel like I kind of went through that for a little bit, but now I'm kind of back to like I'm just gonna write what I want to write and I'm gonna put it out there. And if it goes, if it pops, it pops. If not, not. But I think like bottom line, I would say TikTok is probably good because it helps other people see your stuff more. So
Oh, I love
yeah.
that. Yeah. So are there any challenges to releasing music on social media?
Yeah, I mean, I think like for me anyways, writing the song is so much fun. Recording the song is so much fun. Having a concert and singing the song to people is so much fun. But what's not so much fun is when the song actually comes out because it like is so much pressure. You've been working so hard on like making sure every lyric and everything sounds amazing and the artwork and the music video and the story and whatever. And then it's just out in the world and you're kind of like now what like and you know and it's like you have to kind of just wait and see if people like it, and then it's also like the self promotion of it sometimes feels like icky because it's like listen to my song, like you know it's you feel like kind of like an annoying pathetic loser. I'm like listen to my song guys when I don't want to do that. I just want to put it out and I want people to listen on its own. So yeah, I would say like actually releasing the song and like promoting it on social media has got to be the worst part.
Mm.
It's fun. Yeah. And the scariest.
Yeah. So you covered Bruce Springsteen's song "Dancing in the Dark," and I love Bruce Springsteen, and I love your cover
Thank
of
you.
this song. Yeah. So have you always been a fan of his, and why did you choose this song to reimagine?
It's funny because I think I probably heard him growing up, like if my parents were playing him, but I wasn't like necessarily like a fan of Bruce Springsteen. My job used to be I used to be a dancer at like Sweet 16s and bar and bat mitzvahs. Like I was one of those girls that was like like, and handing out prizes. And so that was my job at the time. And one of the songs that my boss, like the guy on the microphone, like the DJ or whatever, would always put on for the parents to dance to was Dancing in the Dark. And I just loved it. It was so hype. And so I was like dancing to it every weekend. And then I was like, I want to cover the song. I think that would be so cool, like a girl singing it. But yeah, so that's the reason I really owe it to all of the bar mitzvahs and sweet 16s that I was dancing around at, because that song was always being played. And then I got more into Bruce Springsteen from there. But yeah, I credit my boss to introducing me, my old boss to introducing me to the song.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, my mom practically raised me and my sister on Bruce Springsteen's music and Billy Joel's. And so they are,
Love Angel.
yeah, so they are both two of my favorite singers.
So great. So great.
Yeah. Um, and I remember like exactly where I was the first time I heard your cover, because it was,
Really?
yeah, because I was going through radiation at the time, and they had put on music like while the session was going on, and then right before, like after I was done and my mom came in and we were about to leave, your cover came on, and my mom and I were just standing there listening to it like, we love this.
Oh my God, thank you. That's so nice.
Yeah,
Wow. What are
yeah,
the chances? That's crazy.
yeah. So do you have a favorite song that you've written?
I think it's so hard to choose a favorite because like it all becomes my favorite when it's the newest one. But I think probably my favorite song that I've ever written is probably my song Boohoo.
Yeah.
Either that or You Turn Me On But You Give Me Depression.
Oh, I love both of those songs. I was just like screaming the "You Turn Me On, But You Give Me Depression" song this morning. So,
Love it.
yeah, that one, and then "Hot Girls in
Oh yeah.
Hell."
That one's also my favorite. Yeah, those three are definitely my top three for sure to perform as well.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. So is there a song of yours that you've been surprised has resonated with so many people?
Yeah, actually, well, my song Death Wish was kind of the first one to like start getting a lot of streams. And it's funny because I wrote that about such a like personal, like little details. Like growing up, like I had so many goldfish because I would always like they would all die. It was so sad. And then like also like I got dumped really bad, like I guess like 6 years ago now. When I first started writing music, I got dumped on April Fools out of nowhere, and it was on April Fools. And so my grandmother, after I got dumped, like came in and gave me like a little plant. And she's like, now that you don't have a boyfriend to take care of, like, here's a plant. And I killed the plant right away, like not on purpose, but like I overwatered or underwatered. And I remember thinking, like, I can't even keep a plant alive. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I literally ruin everything. And so I wrote Death Wish about that, about those like little details. And everyone kind of was relating to that. And I always find it so weird and crazy how like you can write a song with such specific details, and then like there's numerous people that are like, oh yeah, this happened to me. Like it's so crazy how we're all kind of like living the same experience but different but the same. Like it always trips me out.
Yeah. Yeah, I love those songs and things that just can bring people together no matter how different they are, that there's something like
Yeah.
everybody can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you had a reality TV show about your life, what would your theme song be?
Ooh. Maybe it would be Basket Case by Green Day.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that'd be a good one for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like for me it would like have to just be something totally um ridiculous because there's just so many like conversations that my mom and my sister have that are just like so strange, and we're like, if anybody heard us right now, but
So
we're
good.
just like crying from laughing so hard. And there's just so many like just events that happen that we're just always like, come on, what is this?
Life, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, we're just like, this would be like the perfect skit for something.
Me, my mom, my sister, oh my God, same. Like we have the exact same thing.
Cool. Yeah, I still remember. I don't remember what the conversation was, but it was a couple years ago that we were having just this really weird conversation that we were just making a lot of jokes that we found hilarious. But we're like, if anybody else heard us, they would probably think we're insane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So is there a song that you consider to be the gold standard for songwriting?
It's a good question. I feel like I feel like it's so hard to say because like there's so many different types of songs. Like there's the sad, emotional songs, or there's the song that's like so super hype. And I feel like yeah, so I don't know. So I guess I would say no because I think like songs are always so different. Like even me with my favorite songs, it's like one of the slow ones and one of the upbeat ones, and I feel like I could never really like choose like which one is better because when they're so different and like different like moods and vibes. But I think like I could tell you like the gold standard for songwriters, I would say like Taylor Swift, Julia Michaels. Like I feel like holy shit, all of their songs are so good. I would say that would be for me the gold standard of like the best songwriters in the world, like them. Yeah, their songs.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And like there's a lot of Taylor Swift songs that I'm just like, if I could ever write a song like that.
So good. It's crazy.
Yeah. So what small things bring you joy on a daily basis?
My dog. um, Going on a nice walk with my mom when I'm in Toronto, which I am right now. Um, I don't know. I'm like the type of person that gets very easily excitable about something. Like just the other day at a restaurant, my onion ring looked like a smiley face and it made me happy. So I'm the type of like a lot of little things can just make my day, which is I think a good quality. So I'm happy. But I get like really excited about things. Sometimes my friends are like, "Whoa, calm down." But yeah, I don't know. Just like I guess really anything. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all about the small things, and cuz yeah, my mom is all about the small things in life, and so then she like that's something that I've always tried to live by. And yeah, so I just love finding the joy in the small things.
Yeah, it's a good way to go about things.
Yeah. Um, so how do you keep yourself motivated to create even on days when you aren't fully feeling it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, sometimes there's days, not that I'm not fully feeling it, but that I feel like, you know, it's so hard. Like it's a really hard industry to be in. And it's so competitive. And everyone's so amazing and talented. and you're constantly like looking at the people above you being like, oh man, like she got that tour, or he got so many streams on his song and like I didn't. But you're never looking at the people under you that like, you know, or at least I have that problem, but I feel like other people have that problem too. Like I think it's important to remind yourself to like, if you're going to look up and be like, oh my god, that to also look down and be like, oh, I was once there and now I'm here. So yeah, just like keeping to put things into perspective, and like just know that like it's not a competition with anyone else or anything else but yourself, and like just trying to like be like, wait, I'm doing this because I love it and I'm obsessed with it, so that's why I'm doing this. So yeah, I guess doing that.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so who do you most admire, and how has that impacted the way you live your life?
Like in term like music wise, or just in
Um,
general?
yeah, I'm trying either one, like music or personal.
Well, personal, I would definitely say my mom.
Yeah.
You know, and she's like really good, and she gives me really good advice about like music, and or not necessarily music because she has pretty bad music taste, but like how to deal with things. But in terms of like musical idols, I would say like my musical idols are like Billie Joe Armstrong of Green Day and Taylor Swift, I think would be like the top two. Um, and yeah, for that, just like looking up to their amazing musicianship and songwriting.
I love that. So when you have a day off, what would your perfect day look like?
Okay. Perfect day. Probably definitely going for a walk outside. I feel it's like so important for me, especially because like I'm inside constantly in a studio with like no windows to go on a walk.
Yeah.
Go for a walk, get a Starbucks, which is my fave. Um, if I was in Toronto, hang out with my dog and then watch TV. I'm like a big TV show person.
Oh yeah, me too. I agree with all of those. I love, yeah, Starbucks and going for a walk.
Yeah.
I love it all. So
Yeah.
um,
And I was watching your interviews, by the way, and I saw that you interviewed Bryan Cranston, and Breaking Bad is my all-time favorite show. And I was like, oh my God, she is so cool. That is sick.
oh, thank you.
Oh yeah, that's so cool. I actually have a Breaking Bad tattoo on my leg, but don't tell Bryan Cranston because it says Pinkman for Jesse Pinkman.
Oh, I love
For Aaron
that.
Paul. But like I love Bryan too.
Cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Um, so do you have a show that you're currently binge watching?
Yes. So I'm actually currently rewatching the show called Once Upon a Time. Have you ever seen it?
I have, yeah.
It's so good. So I
Yeah.
find myself these days rewatching shows because I just like need that comfort, and like I don't have a that much time to like watch TV, so I kind of like put it on in the background because I already know what's gonna happen, or like I can watch it for like 5 minutes at a time or whatever. But I do really like recently I did watch like Daisy Jones and the Six, which was a new show. I loved that show.
Yeah.
But I love that it was only like 10 episodes and then it's done. Like, you know, Once Upon a Time, for instance, or Breaking Bad, it's like 6 seasons. It's such a commitment if you're like starting it now. But luckily I've already seen it. So I'll just put that on sometimes like in the background. But right now I'm binging Once Upon a Time on Disney Plus.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of shows I'm binge watching because I'm watching Grimm right now.
Oh, I feel like I've never oh no, I've heard of that, but I don't know what it's about even.
Yeah, I it's dark and I don't always love dark shows, but it's so good and everybody in it is so good. And my mom watched it when it was on, and when I wanted to start watching it, she was like, it will probably freak you out. And there definitely are some episodes that are really creepy, and so I don't watch it when it gets dark out.
Oh God, yeah.
And yeah. So I'm watching that, and then I just started watching a show called The Tomorrow People.
Oh, I haven't heard of that either. I have to write these down.
Yeah, I never heard of it until just like a month ago, and I started watching it, and it was only on, or less than a month ago, and it was only on for one season, and so I'm very sad that now I'm like invested in it, and I know that it's gonna end.
Damn. Yeah, I don't like when shows end. It's sad.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Um, I had something else I was gonna ask you, and now it just went right out my head. um, so, I love inspiring and motivational quotes. And this week, the quote that is inspiring me is from one of my favorites, Audrey Hepburn. Um, and it says, beauty is being the best possible version of yourself inside and out. Is there a motto or quotation that inspires you?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of a specific one. Drawing a blank. Well, I just like heard the other day this like kind of like proverb. It wasn't necessarily a quote, but it was like this like story about like this farmer and he has a bunch of horses and then he like loses all his horses and everyone's like, "Oh, damn, that sucks." And he's like, "Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't." And then the horses come back and they bring back like all of their friends or whatever. So he ends up having like way extra horses. And they were like, "Oh, that's great." And then he was like, "Maybe it is, maybe it isn't." And then like his son rides on the horse the next day and falls off and breaks his leg. And people are like, "Oh, damn, like that sucks." And he's like, "Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't." And then the next day, a war starts and the son can't go to battle because he has a broken leg. So it was like good that he fell. And so then, like, it just like, it was about how like you never know when something happens, if it was actually good or actually bad, and kind of just like live every day, like, don't worry about like things. Everything happens for a reason. So I actually found that to be like really inspiring and cool because like sometimes it could feel like the world is crashing down, but it's like you really never know, like maybe that was your path and like that had to happen to you for this next thing to happen. So I
Yeah.
find that pretty cool. It's not a quote, but it's cool.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I just remembered what I was that yeah, what I was gonna say. Just kind of not random because we were talking about this, but if you want a new show to binge watch, my mom and I just watched a Netflix show called Fisk. Um,
This?
yeah, which
Okay.
it's only 6 episodes
Oh,
and
that's good.
just half hour episodes. Um, but it's a comedy. It's an Australian comedy, and it is so funny. My mom and I were just crying from laughing while we were watching it.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Bisque.
Yeah.
Bisque. Okay. And Grim. Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It was so much fun to talk with you. And I just had the best time and I really appreciate your taking the time. So thank you.
God, of course. Thank you for taking the time to interview me.
Uh, and yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Ditto.
Thank you. And that's a wrap on today's
Yeah.
edition of The Latest with Maya.